Hello and welcome back to the Strong Women Collective. I'm going to say podcast, even though if you've spotted this already, you will now know that the podcast is going live on YouTube as well, which is super exciting. I'm probably going to still refer to it as the podcast because that is how it started. But alongside these episodes on the YouTube channel, you will also see me deep diving into other topics, providing more value, maybe even doing some real life stuff, like taking you along with me for like training and stuff like that. We'll see. I'm not necessarily going to say that it's going to turn into week in the life vlog style, because at the minute, if you are new to my world, this is the first time you found this, you might be like, what? Who is she and what the freaking hell should I be listening to her for? So there is going to be an initial episode on YouTube already, kind of running you through the basics that the guys on the podcast know because they've been here for 2 years. So who I am, what I do, who I help, all of that kind of stuff, and also like why you should listen to me. So that's going to be there. That's episode number 1. But obviously, as for YouTube, this is going to be like episode number 2. For the guys that are listening on Spotify or Apple, obviously we are well into 2 years of the Strong Women Collective podcast. So for you guys, like nothing's going to change, but it does just mean that if you are working, and I say working, doing that whole dual screen thing where you've got YouTube on one side, your work on the other. If you listen to like vlogs or watch vlogs or like watch stuff on YouTube, you can just find me there as well, which is super exciting. All of the details for all of the platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc., are going to be in the show notes. So like, don't panic. You can still find me across all platforms, but we're just branching out a little bit for 2026. The podcast has been incredible. I've loved every single episode, every single moment of it. But one of my values and my kind of wants as a coach is to have more impact. So by cross posting to YouTube, I'm hoping to help reach a wider audience and continue with fighting the good fight around fitness, nutrition, and health topics without any bullshit or fad diets. So I'll kind of leave that there because I've done a full intro on the original, like the first episode that I've posted to YouTube, but it'll be really cool to connect with some new people. Normally, if you've kind of then found me on YouTube and then gone back to the podcast or vice versa, you will know that I do love a little bit of a rant to kick off the podcast topics, but I actually don't think I have a rant topic this week. However, I have just found a coach / creator / PT on Instagram who I have been really loving. And one of the things about me, like this is my toxic trait. If I find a video that's like gone viral and I really enjoy it, if most of them I will then go to the comment section and it drives my partner mad. Like he'll be like, can we just watch the next video? And I'm like, no, I always want to see the comment sections because they just give me some form of joy. But I went to the comment sections and basically this is a male PT filming his client in her session. Now they're both mic'd up. And if we use our critical thinking, if both of them are wearing a microphone, then both of them have agreed to be recorded. So his client, I am pretty sure, will have agreed to be recorded. And I think that's really important to have that context. And she's doing her squats and he basically refuses to count a rep that isn't a full squat, which to be honest, as a previous personal trainer, I actually really like. My clients definitely would have kicked me in the shins, but it's true. Like, if we're working on great form, theoretically, if you're not hitting from A to B, it doesn't count. The same as if you're one of my clients, you will know that I have likely told you off for either a bicep curl or a lat pull down where you only come halfway. So it's like a bicep curl, you get to the top and then drop the weight. That's only half a rep. That doesn't count. Same with the lat pull down. If you've only pulled down and you don't release under control, that rep doesn't count in my eyes. Well, she's refusing to squat. She throws a full-on strop with him. She keeps standing back on one leg, which to me, I'm like, babe, if you can walk around with the barbell, like she genuinely walks forward, back. He basically has to drag her out the squat rack, which I was finding hysterical. And I'm like, babe, in the nicest way, look, you can lift heavier. I can't remember his name, otherwise I'd tell you. I'm like, you can absolutely lift heavier than this. And she keeps moaning about how she doesn't want to do it and how he's doing her head in because he won't count properly. And then he basically tries to like wrestle the bar and she flicks her leg up behind him and tries to like donkey kick him in the leg, which I was finding brilliant. But so many people are like, oh my God, I could never be your client. Even as a coach, like people are like, oh, I'm a coach and I find it really disrespectful the way you're dealing with your client. And it's like, number one, this is posted for humor. There's no way she is not mic'd up. And like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but she's playing up for the camera. Of course she is. If I'd have gone back 5 years and put a microphone on any one of my clients, the abuse they would have come out with. And of course, because it's entertainment, like this is the entertainment side of things. She is doing her squat. He's just saying, if you don't hit parallel, it doesn't count. So I'm not going to count it. So he's going 4, she's going 5, he's going 5, she's like 6. And she properly gets humpy with him. But I love stuff like that because I, for one, have always valued having a really great relationship with my clients. But people in the comment section were wild, just very much, I think, wanting to hate on him for the purpose of, I know better than you and I would never treat my clients like that. But I would like to say, if you were with me for a PT session, that's probably a little bit of what you get from me. And if you tried to kick me in the leg, I'd take it. Okay, I'd take it on the chin. Anyway, today we're going to be talking all things seasonal body image and body image in general, because I don't know about you, I have been having a few conversations with some of the girls about this. And because the UK got a little bit hotter last week, we did see temperatures of like 25, 26, even in the northwest where I am near Manchester. We actually saw like some pretty decent weather. And I actually posted on my Instagram story, I was having a really bad day. And I think it was the hottest day, like the Wednesday. It was so uncomfortable. Like I was uncomfortable in my own skin. Like my skin didn't feel like mine. I hated my hair, hated my face. I got changed 4 times in the morning because everything I put on felt uncomfortable. Now, I was a few days into my period, so I was bloated. I was carrying a lot of water. And I am somebody for whom, like, the first few days in heat, I swell like a balloon. Like, I felt like a puffer fish. Couldn't get my rings off. Everything felt tight. I made the mistake of wearing a tighter fitting pair of shorts to the gym, came home feeling like Jabba the Hutt. It was just horrific. And I posted on my stories because I think we're very conscious. Like, I'm very conscious that I talk about the wins, I talk about the positives, I will talk about days that I'm feeling really good, but I actually have a lot of days where I don't feel so great, and a lot of that is hormonal. I'm overall quite happy in my body. I'm overall somebody who has like a relatively decent body image, but when the days hit, like they hit hard, and I just couldn't get comfortable until I changed into basically my pajama shorts and a bikini top, because like even I had like a halter neck sports bra on, it just felt like it was digging in my neck then felt uncomfortable. It was just a whole thing. But I am somebody who tries to practice what I preach, right? And seasonal body image is a thing. And if you're like, what on earth are you talking about? When we're talking about body image does not refer to how your body physically looks. It's how you think and how you feel about how you look. And you might be like, I've never contemplated my body image before. I've never done any work on it. But if you work with me, you'll know that one of the facets of the work we do is on body image, because I am a coach who primarily deals with women aged like 28 to 50 who go through a lot of hormonal changes, body changes, postpartum, pregnancy, perimenopause, etc. And our bodies change between 20 and 30, and then again 30 to 40. So we do a lot of work around the narrative and what the stories are that we're telling ourselves, the way we speak about our bodies, because again, I have a lot of clients who are millennials who have gone through that special K diet, 90s and noughties, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. And we have a lot of people with a very warped sense of like, what is a normal, healthy body? So this is a facet of the work we do, right? But when it comes to body image, it's not about how your body physically looks. It's how you think, how you feel, and then subsequently how you talk about it. And a lot more emerging research is being done into the field of body image and what helps people with cultivating a better body image. But one facet of this is seasonal body image. And studies have actually shown that our self-reported body image and the terms that we search for fluctuate into the warmer months. So spring and summer, the narrative is a lot higher around dieting, fat loss, bikini body guides, and all of that kind of stuff because of the change in seasons. Number one, it's physically hotter. So we're not able to cover up as much as we would have done in winter. And also because the narrative on things like social media and in the media is a lot more attuned to our bodies and changing our bodies. So seasonal body image is a thing. So if you have been sat there over the last like week or so, just being like, oh my God, I'm feeling so uncomfortable. I'm struggling being on social media. I've been shit talking myself and all of the above, then you are not alone. And this is, dare I say, more common at this time of year. I mean, it's April at the moment. The chat around dieting, fat loss, shredding for summer is noisier. There is a lot more talk about it. And again, this isn't me shit talking coaches who are talking about fat loss and are, you know, going through fat loss phases with their clients, because I cannot sit here as a fat loss and strength coach and say, you know, a lot of my clients aren't in fat loss, because they are. And I think especially when you're more in the, dare I say, general population, like you're not a bikini competitor, there is a certain element of wanting to be a little bit leaner for the summer months and being okay with a little bit of weight gain across winter. And this is not inherently bad. Like dieting is not bad. Fat loss is not bad. It's context dependent. It's person dependent. But my aim is to do it in the best way possible for the human that is in front of me, and to not inadvertently make people feel terrible about their body based on my content and the things that I am talking about. Like I have just gone back into a fat loss phase. I've just gone back into a calorie deficit. I posted this on my stories yesterday and I was like, who would want to see me document this process? Now, I do not have millions of followers, and 33 people, 100% of the people that voted on the poll said yes. Nobody said, no, you beg, behave yourself, which I thought I was going to get at least one. And I think there's a couple of reasons for this. Is number one, I think the people that follow me trust that I have their best interests at heart, and that I am not going to do anything that I would not encourage them to do. And I'm not going to ruin their relationship with their food and body. And also I think it's because we're inherently nosy. There is a level of comparison every single day. But again, like not all comparison is bad. And looking at somebody who you maybe hold in high regard and seeing what they do can often be motivating. That's not me saying people on Instagram think I hold me in high regard, but it's like that. If there are elements of them watching me and what I do, and they're like, oh yeah, she seems to like know her stuff, like I'd be intrigued to see how she runs a calorie deficit. I think we're all curious, and that can play a massive part. But again, like I'm not doing it purely because I want to be like skinny for summer. I am turning 35 in 6 weeks' time, and I have said that I'm going in for 6 weeks. I will then have a diet break over my birthday, and then I'll choose whether or not I want to extend it. But I would like to book a holiday this year. I would like to get some time in the sun, which means some time in a bikini. And would I be lying if I said I didn't want to feel the best about myself? Yeah, I absolutely would. Like for me, it's not about losing mega tons of weight. I went away in September and November last year and didn't diet for either. I was just living in my body and felt absolutely fine. Was, you know, in a bikini, wasn't covering up, wasn't like, I didn't change what I wore. But would I maybe like to dial it in a notch? Yeah, I would. The last time I went on like a proper holiday was 2023. And I did diet before that. And I felt incredible. It was the best I've ever felt in a bikini. And do I want to be able to do that, have that, and make my boyfriend take photos of me on the beach? Yeah, I freaking do. Because I spent about 10 years feeling really gross in my body, even being skinnier. So I'm embracing the fact that I feel pretty decent, but I want to feel like the best that I can. And for me, that does mean chipping away about 3 to 5 kilos in total. Like it's not a groundbreaking amount. There'll be people out there that are like, oh, you could do with losing more, but that's not what I want. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when it comes to seasonal body image, obviously I am very hyper aware that it is true that Google searches, social media searches for diets, fat loss, bikini bodies, etc. do rise at this time of year. And I think when we know that, we can look at how we curate our time on social media and our feed. And I am a big pusher for, if somebody makes you feel a certain way that you're not happy with, you can mute them, you can unfollow them. You don't have to announce your departure. You don't have to say goodbye to people, but you can choose to protect your peace and your energy and go, do you know what? Your content's great, or it might not be, but it's not for me right now. And it's making me feel some kind of way, because I'm very aware that me posting that I'm dieting might trigger people who, you know, maybe follow me that are working on their relationship with food and their body. And as part of that, they are not in a position to pursue a fat loss phase. So me talking about a calorie deficit might be triggering for them. But that doesn't mean I have to stop posting about it, but it means that they can be a grown adult and go, do you know what, this for now for me is not right, so I'm going to mute her and then I'll come back to her when I'm maybe in a different place or not. And that's like, that is absolutely fine. But if you are here and you are feeling some kind of way about your body, I would like to start by saying that because negative body image is not about how our body physically looks, it's how we think and how we feel about it. We do not improve our body image just by dieting alone. We don't get better by just trying to shrink our bodies. And actually, for some of you, the art is to sit with those feelings and not immediately try and do something about it. Like, I am not going into this fat loss phase because I feel terribly about my body. I'm just going into it because I can, because I want to, and because I personally feel happier about 3 to 5 kilos lighter. I don't need to be there all the time, but going into summer, I'd like a little bit of that. So it is important to kind of be aware of the fact that dieting alone does not improve your body image. What does is tackling how you speak about your body. And again, there are more emerging studies. There was a meta-analysis that I was looking at the other day, which is like a study of studies about, the actual title is, for anybody that wants to know, I will just get it up because I'll put the PubMed link in the description, but it was a meta-analytic review of standalone interventions to improve body image. And this was published, it was 2015, but there's definitely some newer stuff from that. There was another study that I was looking at from 2025, which is seasonal body image dissatisfaction by hemispheric panel analysis of social media users across 4 years. And basically all of the studies will show that the more we fat talk, the more we engage in talk about our bodies, like I'm so fat, I'm this, I'm that, the worse we make ourselves feel. And actively choosing to remove ourselves from conversations like this is really quite important. And the one that always gets me is the scene in Mean Girls where they're all standing in the mirror, like shit talking themselves, like my paws are this and my face is this and my hair is that. And it's actually true that if you have friends who talk shit about their bodies or engage in more fat talk, like you are more likely to be dissatisfied with your body as well, because the impact our friends and family have on us is absolutely wild. And I know from speaking to clients, like if they're in a family scenario with family members who are maybe talking negatively about their bodies or about their food choices, they all pretty much find it hard to not internalize that narrative. So tackling the way you speak about your body is a key part in improving your body image. Another key part in improving your body image is practicing body functionality. So, for example, this could be by making a gratitude list that lists all of the reasons that your body is absolutely fantastic, that has nothing to do with the way it looks. So what it can do, what it allows you to do, your strength, your performance, and having a focus that is not about how your body physically looks. Now, obviously, I'm coming at this from, I work in the fitness industry. It is, aside from probably the fashion industry, the most body obsessed industry you can work in. And if you are somebody who suffers with terrible body image, I would recommend not working inside the fitness industry, because it can be a complete mindfuck. And especially when you're facing the narrative of things like your body is your business card, or you should look a certain way, you should have a certain physique in order to coach people effectively, like it is quite challenging to navigate. But body functionality is one of the greatest ways that we can improve our body image. So learning to appreciate and focus on what our body physically enables us to do rather than what it looks like. And again, this doesn't mean you will never want to do a fat loss phase, or you'll never want to do like a muscle gain phase, or you'll never want to engage in body composition changes. But it is also a lot better if you pursuing that change comes from a place of, I want better for my body, not I hate it so much because it's like this, therefore I want to change it to do X. And something that is massively underrated, and again, I'm trying not to make this like too science heavy. I want this more to be like, okay, well here, when we're aware of these things, here's how we can practically look to make them better for ourselves. But another thing is dressing. I don't want to say for the body you have, not the body you want, but dressing in a way that makes your current body feel comfortable. Because I don't know about you, but if you've ever had a day where you're feeling uncomfortable, maybe you're feeling bloated, like physically you are bloated, maybe you are physically carrying a bit more water because you're due on your period, or maybe, I don't know, you're even a little bit constipated, or if you do have anything like IBS, you've had like a little bit of a flare up. Nothing crushes a day like wearing something that is too tight or ill-fitting or overstimulating that just makes you feel absolutely terrible about yourself. And something that I will always say, if one of my clients is like, I'm having a really bad day, I feel really uncomfortable, they might even say I feel fat, and I don't just sit there and say, fat is not a feeling. It's not, but we all can associate with that feeling of like fatness. But I would always say, like, can you please go and make sure that you put something on that's comfy? Like, can you go and get changed if at all possible, and not be having something tight, constrictive, in like a fabric that doesn't feel good on your skin, because that is going to heighten those feelings. And then what happens is you are more likely to engage in compensatory behaviors. Like if you're feeling very uncomfortable, you're feeling very bloated, you might be likely to then try and cut your calories or skip a meal or do more cardio. And those compensatory behaviors are not always particularly healthful or helpful. And they don't change necessarily how you feel. They just give you another direction in which you can try and take yourself. And if there's anything I've learned kind of over coaching the last 10 years, it's that punishment behaviors never really tend to do us any favors whatsoever. So whether it's you've come off the back of a heavy weekend and you're like, I'm going to slash my calories, that normally is not the right approach to take. The same as if you're feeling bloated, you're feeling uncomfortable, you slashing your calories is likely not going to work for you, because what you're then going to be is hungry, tired, frustrated, and still feeling uncomfortable. And sometimes these negative feelings, the I feel fat, or I feel very uncomfortable, or I feel very bloated, they're not a sign that you need to physically do anything to change your body. They are a sign that you need to pay attention to it and go, okay, because I feel like this, here's how I'm going to show up for myself. And again, coming at it from the I'm going to move my body because it makes me feel good. I'm going to go and lift weights because it makes me feel good. I am going to eat a nutrient dense meal because it makes me feel good, is likely going to be a better indicator of you having a greater afternoon, evening, the next day, than you slashing your calories, upping your cardio, or changing what you eat in order to physically change your body. And when it comes to those like gradual improvements in body image, whether it's for summer or not, there are some things we can be super certain of. And number one is that the problem often is not your physical body at the moment, it's how you're thinking and how you're feeling about it. So engaging in shit talking is not going to make you feel any better. Engaging in these compensatory behaviors is not going to make you feel any better. And before anybody wants to come at me and be like, yeah, it is, like I overate the weekend and now I drop my calories and I'm feeling back to really good. It's not. It's because you've given yourself a sense of control, and we like to have control over all things. It's not that it's physically going to make you actually get any better. And there's so much, like so much research on this. But it's the same as, posting before and after photos. Coaches will bang on about them 24/7 and how amazing they are and how they help them sell programs and stuff like that, but they are not inherently motivating, and they do inherently serve as a bit of a negative like comparison for most people. But anyway, hey, when it comes to navigating seasonal body image, like body image disturbance is highest at the moment, and genuinely the study showed that April was the month where there was a much higher like intensification of body image disturbance. And that's because the weather is starting to warm up. We're starting to think about wearing fewer clothes, we're starting to think about summer holidays. Creators that you might follow might be starting to go away, post more content in their like bikini, swimwear, etc., and stuff like that. But in terms of like how we physically start supporting ourselves, I think number one is by starting to work on body functionality and body appreciation. So coordinating that list that we spoke about of like all of the ways in which your body allows you to perform. Set some strength-based targets, set some targets of things that you can do with your body that don't rely on how it looks. Engage in a new hobby, for example. These things can be absolutely incredible. Number 2 is definitely curate your social media feed. Like, if somebody is posting a lot of Fitspo content, a lot of diet related content, I would argue that it is probably worth muting them. Like, even if you are going in a fat loss phase at the moment, like right now, I've set my calories, I've got my training plan, all of that stuff. I'm not going to aggressively follow other people that are in a calorie deficit as well, because I also don't want to get blinkered by what they're doing. My only task right now is to fulfill my plan. And it will be the same for you guys. Like, whether you work with me, you work with another coach, you do this by yourself, like, you watching for what somebody else is doing is not inherently going to make your life any easier. And actually, that like Fitspiration content does often increase our body dissatisfaction. Like, it actually doesn't necessarily make us feel any better. It is likely to make us feel worse. So curate your social media feed, unfollow, mute people that you need to, spend less time on social media, like absolutely 10 out of 10 winner. And then big one is, if you are feeling some kind of way, dress for appreciating your body as it is right now. Dress in ways that make you feel comfortable. Show up and get your next nutrient dense meal in. Try and continue to train as you would, because your body doesn't deserve punishment. And yes, you might be feeling some kind of way, and this is also not me saying like you will not do a fat loss phase, because you might, and that is absolutely a-okay. But it is always going to be better when it's coming from that place of, I am doing this because this is what I want to do, not I am doing this because it feels like I should. Some underrated tips, and again, these aren't necessarily backed in science, but I do definitely think that if you're having a bit of a funky day with your appearance, with your body image, make sure you do like your skincare. I would go in for an extra hair wash. I don't know about you guys, but like, if I've got greasy hair and I'm already feeling terrible, it adds to the pressure and I feel minging. I will sometimes put makeup on just to take the edge off. And the other thing that I will do is put perfume on. For me, smelling good makes me feel a lot better. So it might seem like such a frivolous, silly little girl hack, but genuinely, when you're not feeling great, I think being in that space where you just slob around, you wear clothes that don't fit you properly, you let your hair pile up greasy, you don't like do anything with your face, sometimes that can make you feel worse. Again, I'm not sat here telling you to wash your hair and put makeup on, but I'm telling you that like these things do genuinely make me feel better and like a little bit more, like, I'm gonna say, like, they make me feel like a little bit more me, is kind of what I would say. If you at the minute do not do any work on your body image, I do think it's really helpful. If you do want to message me with any questions or queries, please do feel free. As I said, like, I will put all of my contact details in all of the show notes, both across YouTube and Spotify. And at some point I will stop being so awkward about the fact that I am posting across both, and I will probably just go back to referring to this as the podcast, because there will be standalone episodes and maybe some, as I say, some vlog style content. If there is anything you want to see, anything you want me to cover, please, like, genuinely do feel free to drop me an email or drop me a message on Instagram, because I'm very intrigued to see how this will go down in the YouTube world. It might bomb, and then I might just slowly take myself back under a rock, but you never know. Anyway, that is this week's episode, talking all things body image and seasonal body image. As I say, if this throws up any questions, please do feel free to contact me, and I will be back with you next week. Goodbye.